The Cheers to That podcast, proudly brought to you by drinklab.org. Thanks for listening. Your next favorite cocktail is waiting at drinklab.org.
All right, listeners, buckle up. Today's deep dive is going to be a fun one. We're exploring the world of cocktails.
Cocktails.
Well, not just any cocktails. We're talking about the ones with names that make your grandma blush, you know?
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Those screaming orgasms and hairy buffaloes of the drink world. Where'd those names even come from?
It's really quite fascinating when you think about it. These outrageously suggestive names. They give us a peek into how cocktail culture and even just social norms have changed over time.
It's true. They're like little windows into the past, but with more booze.
Exactly. And you can't deny it, they definitely grab your attention. Like, they're almost designed to make you do a double take on a cocktail menu.
They totally dare you to order them. So come on, let's unpack this. Why are we so drawn to these audacious names? What's the psychology there?
I think it boils down to the shock value.
Right.
These names, they surprise us, they amuse us. Some people might even be a little bit scandalized. It's like a mini rebellion to order one.
It's like you're saying, hey, look at me, I'm not afraid of a little fun. Or maybe a lot of fun, depending on the cocktail.
Precisely. It's a form of social signaling, even if we don't always realize it.
Right, like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge over a shaker full of something strong. And speaking of strong, our source for this deep dive, Dirty Named Cocktails and Drinks, that website from Drink Lab, they've got these cocktails sorted into some pretty, let's say, anatomically themed categories.
Oh yes, they definitely went there.
We've got sex-related, vagina, pussy-related, penis, cock, dick-related, and the list goes on. It's like a crash course in all the things you're not supposed to talk about at the dinner table.
But that's what's so interesting. It highlights what we, as a society, consider off-limits, taboo.
Mm-hmm.
These categories, as outrageous as they might seem, they're tapping into something very human.
It's like they're taking these taboos, things we're usually hush-hush about, and throwing them back in our faces with a little umbrella and a cherry on top.
And that's where the humor comes in, right?
Right.
It lets us engage with these topics, even if it's just through a silly drink name, in a way that's playful, not offensive.
Okay, but you know what's funny? What one generation finds scandalous, the next might just shrug off. It's all about changing social norms, right?
Exactly. Language is fluid, always evolving along with our values. What's taboo today? Who knows? Maybe it'll be commonplace tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm ready to get into some specifics. Let's pull out a few of these outrageously named cocktails and see if we can figure out what makes them tick.
I'm game.
Okay, let's start with sex-related. And wow, they really didn't hold back. The most straightforward name has got to be, drumroll, quick fuck.
Straight to the point.
I mean, they couldn't even throw in on the beach to make it a little less,
I see what you mean. There's a certain bluntness there. Maybe it's going for that I want it now kind of vibe. Or, maybe they just wanted to see who'd be bold enough to order it.
Fair point. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we've got vagina pussy related. And oh boy, there are a lot of options here.
Someone got creative.
I'm going to go with pink pussy shots. Like, what were they going for with that one?
It's definitely attention grabbing. It could be seen as reclaiming a word that's often used in a derogatory way, taking back the power.
Or maybe they just really like pink drinks and weren't afraid to say it.
True. Okay, what's next?
All right, moving on to penis, cock, dick related. Brace yourselves. And the winner is the Boy Wonder cocktail.
The Boy Wonder. That one's almost subtle compared to some of the others.
You mean like Dirty Mexican or Big Johnson?
Right. Though the Boy Wonder cocktail does have that interesting contrast. Innocence versus, well, not so innocent.
Maybe it's about that awkward transition from teenager to adulthood.
Or maybe it's just a tasty drink with a name that makes you chuckle.
Okay, next up, slut-related cocktails. And the name that caught my eye is the Red-Headed Slut Shot. Not exactly subtle, are they?
Definitely provocative.
Yeah.
And it really shows how language can be used in such complex ways.
Yeah, it's a fine line between offensive and empowering, and this one seems to be walking it.
For sure.
Okay, let's move on. Boob-related. The one that stands out to me is the double inception bomb shot.
Now that's a mouthful.
It sounds intense. Like, what even is a double inception bomb shot?
Right. It's like the name's trying to get you tipsy before you even take a sip.
Okay, grand finale. Other category, and the winner is Adios motherfucker cocktail. Short, sweet, and to the point.
You definitely won't forget that name.
It's like the mic drop of the cocktail world.
An entire other category. It's like the island of misfit toys, but for drinks.
Love that analogy.
But really, it's what makes all of this so fascinating. These outrageous names, they're more than just words on a menu. They're glimpses into our collective psyche,
Yeah.
Our fascination with taboos, with pushing boundaries.
It's like social commentary disguised as a cocktail menu. Who knew?
Exactly. It makes you think, what will be the Adios motherfucker of the future? What's shocking today might be.
Tame tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how much things change, even just the way we talk about things.
Absolutely. It's a constant evolution.
Yeah.
Language reflecting our culture and all its hang-ups.
And maybe these drinks, they're not just reflecting that evolution. Maybe they're pushing it forward a little, too.
How so?
Well, they're putting these terms, these ideas we usually shy away from, right out in the open.
It's true. It's like they're reclaiming them in a way, making them less taboo, more playful.
Yeah, like a little cocktail rebellion against, I don't know, being boring. But okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've been analyzing these names like they're ancient scrolls.
I gotta say, they're fascinating.
They are. But let's talk about the actual drinks. Are these cocktails all shock and no substance? Or are there some hidden gems hiding behind these crazy names?
That is the question, isn't it? And I think it's safe to say a good name might get you in the door, but it's the taste that keeps you coming back.
So it's not all just a gimmick.
Not at all. Think of it like this. The name is the marketing. The taste, that's the product.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's talk taste. Out of all these outrageously named cocktails, which ones would you actually recommend?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But I'm always a fan of a classic Sex on the Beach. Fruity, refreshing.
It's like a vacation in a glass. And didn't it have some interesting origin stories, too?
Oh, absolutely. Some say it was invented in Florida back in the 80s.
Makes sense.
Others claim it's got a much longer history, maybe even going back to the early 1900s.
Wow, really? I had no idea.
Right. The exact origin might be a bit of a mystery, but one thing's for sure, it's a popular choice. And not just for the name.
So, Sex on the Beach, a classic for a reason. But what about something a little more adventurous?
Adventurous. Okay, let's see. If you're feeling bold, I might recommend the Dirty Banana Cocktail.
The Dirty Banana Cocktail. Okay, you've got my attention.
It's creamy, a little bit decadent, with aged rum, banana, coffee liqueur.
Okay, that actually sounds good.
Right. Don't let
Yeah.
the name fool you. It's surprisingly sophisticated.
I'm adding it to my list. Now, give me one more recommendation. Something truly out there, you know?
Truly out there. In that case, you might enjoy the Adios motherfucker cocktail.
The Adios motherfucker. Wow, that's a way to end a night.
Or start one, depending on your perspective.
That's true. What's in this potent concoction?
Well, it's a mix of 5 different spirits.
5.
Vodka, rum, tequila gin, and a splash of blue curacao.
Sounds like a party in a glass. Or maybe the aftermath.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Strong, bold. It makes a statement.
That it does. You know, it sounds like these cocktails, they're more than just drinks. They're like little pieces of history, cultural commentary, maybe even a little bit of rebellion all mixed into one.
Well said. They remind us that drinks, they can be more than just a beverage. They can spark conversations, tell stories.
It's like we're sipping on history.
Yeah. And a little bit of fun, too. Don't forget the fun.
It's about finding the humor in the unexpected, pushing those boundaries, even if it's just one cocktail at a time.
You know, it really makes you think about the power of a name. I mean, these cocktails, they're almost like little stories in a glass.
I like that. Stories in a glass. It's true. Each one captures a little something about our culture. What we find funny, what makes us squirm. It's like looking into a weird, boozy mirror, right? And it makes you wonder, like, what are future generations going to think when they stumble across a menu with a dirty Sanchez on it?
It's a fun thought experiment.
Right.
Will they be shocked, intrigued, or will they just wonder what all the fuss was about?
Right. What's edgy now might be quaint in a few decades. Who knows? Maybe they'll be ordering Grandma's Booty Call and the Robot Fetish in 2100.
Now, there's a thought. It really highlights how much language evolves, how what's considered taboo or shocking is always in flux.
And maybe that's the takeaway here, that these drinks, with their outrageous names, they're not just about getting a buzz. They're about sparking a conversation, making us think about the words we use and how they shape our world.
Absolutely. They're a reminder that even something as simple as a cocktail can hold a mirror up to society, make us question, make us laugh, and maybe even make us a little bit uncomfortable.
All while sipping on something delicious, hopefully.
Yeah.
So next time you're at a bar, take a closer look at that cocktail menu. You never know what stories might be hiding behind those creative and sometimes eyebrow-raising names.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And a huge thank you to you, our intrepid listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cocktails with not-so-subtle names. We hope you enjoyed this potent mix of history, humor, and maybe even a little bit of social commentary.
And remember, always drink responsibly. But don't be afraid to have a little fun with it.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep the questions flowing, and keep those drinks coming.
Feeling thirsty? Check out the description or visit drinklab.org for all the recipe goodness. Cheers!